Hello, thank you for checking in. I am the Dragon, your host, and today we'll be discussing some favorite moments highlighting climactic confrontations that truly resonated with me. I couldn't find fresh video links to refresh my memory, so what you're hearing is from a genuine side show showcasing some insight about growth, redemption, and perhaps some inspiring levels that might be defined as ascension, perhaps humbling, somewhat enlightening. Spoiler alert, if you didn't see these shows, then perhaps you might want to check them out before I break down some of their best scenes. Start off big and talk about the show Afro Samurai 2007, one of the biggest collaborations of the best rap artists. Most shows have a tribalistic view of good versus evil, but this kind of leaves up to the audience and what you believe is right or wrong. Some see the show as the headbands as a curse. To be honest, it's never stated like that, but the belief in its system has men and women's hearts corrupted in a malicious intent and a lust for power. To get to my main point, the character who I do not remember his name, perhaps an immigrant, or a man who either has lost trust giving his name or never had one. They only call him Afro by his long hair and as a defining feature in identifying this bloodthirsty path to power. In the show, he takes on various opponents. Some are not taking any chances, and others just armed with a broken heart. In the show, he takes on a bot who's armed to the teeth and gifted movement who brings much concern. The bot blocks Afro's ability to cross the bridge, almost a form of symbolism of the path to revenge, of his mutilated mind and soul, his journey to retribution. As the bot reaches an elevation that complements the heavens, as he descends with the bot, it only shadows his path to vengeance, to not only live, but prolong the inevitable of the abomination of a life the path of the headbands creates. Number two, we have the Iron Giant movie, 1999. In the movie, the setting seems fairly remote, and the Iron Giant comes off fairly innocent, curious, and well mannered until he is provoked by the army. Although our understanding of the levels of triad system is fairly simplified in this, it also doesn't shy away from the realities that the general outlines. That's perhaps another small detail mistake since the age of the knight and kings and queens and generals. They don't normally participate or find themselves around ground zero or where a certain conflict might be unfolding. As the general says, an ICBM is launched. There is no surviving this. The person responsible for starting this problem was detained. For whatever reason, the commanding officer in charge decides there's no time for paperwork or to move an AWOL soldier. He has a distinguishing quote of honor. He says, "Make sure he stays like a good soldier." As the boy briefly gives the giant an understanding that the weapon coming has the potential to end everyone there. He takes it upon himself to take the initiative to sacrifice himself in a means to protect the people who originally had set the tone for his demise. It is both beautiful and tragic. In one quote, as he rises to the higher parts of the atmosphere, he mumbles, "Superman." Superman was never really his name, but a name given to him because of his amazing feats he was capable of. The S also has a different meaning on his planet, hope. Number three. At number three, ugh. At number three, we have Mewtwo versus Genesect, 2013. Mewtwo is a genderless psychic Pokemon clone after the legendary Mew and uh, excuse me. Mewtwo is a genderless psychic Pokemon cloned after legendary Mew from an eyelash. In this movie, it starts out as many of the other movies of Mewtwo as being a guardian or leader to the other Pokemon. As he flies with the other bird Pokemon, she asks, "Do you think you can keep up with me?" As if going on a run with the kids or dogs. She goes ahead and tells the others, "I'm going to go on ahead." In this first movie, in the first movie, a man's voice Mewtwo, but a woman's voice Mewtwo in this movie. To be honest, it doesn't matter to me who voices Mewtwo as long as the foundation of his character is in place, which greatly outlined throughout this movie. I don't believe what we hear can be determined as speech from Mewtwo. From Mewtwo, rather clear messaging sent telepathically, like a flower might open up as it blossoms to receive sunlight and accept a message from another plant. A bird may chirp, a monkey may grunt, an insect may give off certain pheromones that deliver messages. But to us humans, we hear, "Do you think you can keep up with me? I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to push my limits." As she travels to the deepest parts of the atmosphere, the temperature changes drastically. And without a shield or a way to convert oxygen properly, she begins to pursue this goal. She shows preliminary and elevating altitude sickness. Quotation marks, HAP and HAS. Quotation marks. Before blacking out, she lightens her efforts and begins to fall, and is interrupted by an innocent voice. "I want to go home." As a guardian and a symbol of a mentor, she should know who is speaking, but her mind and heart are suddenly rushed with a new obsession to help this innocent little girl find home. As she lowers herself to the top of the mountain, where she finds a peculiar looking adolescent Pokemon. "Home. I want to go home." Later, we find out the mountain was actually on a lower elevation. If you need to go ahead and look up plate tectonics and how they work, go right ahead and check out before returning to this video. The Pokemon are fossils, replicas like Mewtwo, artificially created in a robot form. "Home. I want to go home." Suddenly, Mewtwo is met with hostility by the Alpha, who controls the other Genesect. Pokemon like a queen may do her servants as mean a service. The Alpha Pokemon scraps with Mewtwo, and at the height of their conflict, Mewtwo transforms into her Mega Evolution and fights with the Alpha to protect the humans and the other Pokemon. During a brief flashback, we can see that the Genesect is trying to claim their old hunting ground, like a hive mind getting spotted on a private property. But this property is greatly like there's a big population there. Mewtwo, who fails in her psychic attempt in connecting to the Genesect, perhaps because they are in robot form and don't have a natural form like a cerebellum or something that normally connects living creatures. They're synthetic Pokemon. They don't have a natural form like the other Pokemon. Mewtwo, in her Mega Evolution, says one more time, "I have to push my limits." as she grabs the Alpha, not understanding they don't convert oxygen like Mewtwo does. She hopes to find its limitations, as Mewtwo has been humbled as she has gone up to the upper atmosphere. She lifts the Alpha Genesect into the highest point of space. Mewtwo resembles similar altitude sickness as before. As they float into the heavens, Mewtwo accomplished her goal, but not in the sense she had hoped. Home, as the Alpha speaks, in a curious and commanding voice. The Alpha said, before Mewtwo loses consciousness, they could see the curvature of the Earth. For whatever reason, for not retaining their original memory, or now having a robot body, has allowed them to hang out where no Pokemon has gone before. Home, said the Alpha. Then Mewtwo said, it's home to everyone. As they stare down the horizon, the Alpha Genesect totally changes its demeanor, its goals, and is emptied of all ill intent, and nothing but sympathy, respect, and love is poured into the Alpha's heart, and decides to no longer pursue its old hunting ground. Number 4, we have the Battle of Gods, 2014, which raised the bar for Goku so high I decided to mention it in this video. We have the introduction of the universe of the 13 universes, and the title of the Destroyer God, with its mirror soul being the Supreme Kai's. At the climactic ending to the battle, Goku was able to stop one of Beerus's attacks, not before being completely drained of power. Despite completing the ceremony to grant what I believe was the true form that Frieza truly feared. The last sentence was my personal interpretation. So go ahead and type your stuff. The last sentence was my personal interpretation. Goku stops Beerus's attack, which was perhaps just a glimpse of his power. This is just from the movie. Dragon Ball has a way of glazing the next villain, but in this moment Goku was outmatched. Beerus then replies, "How did you do that?" in a curious and fascinating tone. Goku said, "I don't know," in an exhausted tone, with a heart raging with passion, ready to defend the entire world. He said, "I don't know." Then Beerus began to raise his hand one more time for another attack. He then asked, "I just want you to say, you give up." Goku hearing this as Beerus lowers his arm, perhaps some renewed infatuation of Goku, Earth, and its food. Goku, with his innocent-like tone and dissatisfaction, dissatisfied voice, said, "I give up. I've given it all I got." As the scene progresses, he then tells Goku about the other destroyers. Goku then faints from disbelief, then is caught, and brought gently down to where his friends, family, and allies are waiting for him. Number 5. Our fifth and final entry is the All-Star Superman, who has some pretty amazing moments. Superman is an incredibly difficult character to write about, because the levels of different writers give him. He has gone from Spider-Man strong to as strong as Toonie possible. In this movie, he catches cancer, and the sun is poison. He then realizes his timely demise and writes a journal. He then gives his girlfriend, Lois Lane, his cape and takes off to the sun to repair what Lex Luthor had done. Right before setting the record straight, an epiphany of physics that we underappreciate Superman has all the time. As he flies to the sun, its temperature drops to returning to normal before making Earth a not so habitable zone. We need to look up that habitable zone and go ahead and do that. A little detail we can barely grasp the surface on how small we really are and how big the universe is. There are also a really wholesome moment where Superman treats Lois Lane to a honeymoon and brings flowers from a different star system that actually give off a low and lovely melody. It's romantic and concerning that Lois Lane starts to get curious and ask, "Why are you being so nice?" Superman confession comes off with his ultimate love and hope. I'm dying. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.